Happy holidays, everyone! Joe here with another Fallout 76 video. I'm creating this video just before Christmas of 2020, and as you may know, I started this channel to keep myself sane while locked down in our bunkers to avoid catching the virus. I'll let you decide if it worked. Let's hope 2021 is a much better year for all of us. And now, on to the video. A friend of mine who is new to the game asked me a really good question. How do I move my camp without having to restock my vendor stations or refill my display cases? While some of us might love decorating, no one wants to have to rebuild and redecorate a camp from scratch, let alone take the time to restock vendors or refill displays. As with a lot of things about this game, there's a trick to it. I'm going to share that and more in this video about how to move camp. So let's jump in. First, let me give you a tour of my main character's current camp so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. Hi everyone, Joe from Christmas Future here, to let you know that I'm using different video capture software during parts of this video, so the audio quality and the video quality might be a little choppy in places. Also, there are lots of parts here where I am not using a script. It'll be pretty obvious when you see those. Anyway, back to the video. There is a pretty heavy Brotherhood theme going on here. Down here in this lower building, I'm using it to protect. You can see my generator in there. There's a farm in there and a resource collector in there. Over here, I've got my water purifiers. As we go up, you can see my Brotherhood recon tower, inside which I have all of my workstation and all of these display cases showing my cute and cuddly teddy bears. And we go back outside to see my Brotherhood bunker with all of my vending stations inside. So how on earth would I move this actually pretty complicated camp setup without losing all of the stuff in the vending stations and having to refill them, restock them? What's the easiest way to do that? And the answer, there are actually two answers. First, we can use prefabricated structures that you can buy in the Atom Shop or earn in the Seasons, like the Red Rocket Garage or this Brotherhood bunker over here. Or you can use blueprints. So let me switch characters, because I don't actually want to move this camp right now. So let me switch characters, and I will demonstrate what I am talking about. Be right back. Okay, so here we are at Butch's camp next to Morgantown Station, and as you can see, it's an elaborately decorated setup with two Red Rocket garages, two flying houses, complete with vendor stations, display stations, crafting stations, and of course a Santatron. So inside one of the Red Rockets, here's a vending station, and I've loaded it with some random stuff to sell. Got a bed here, a display with some more random stuff, a workstation. We close this door, and in this other, Red Rocket, again, we've got exactly the same thing. We've got vending station with some random stuff. Another Tinker's Workbench here, some workstations, a bed. Oh, and another display case with some random stuff. Okay, so we've got a simple tower with a couple of turrets. And in these buildings, we've got some, again, random decorations. Not showing off my mad decorating skills here. So how do we move this camp? The first step is to simplify the camp. If we tried to move right now and place all these objects down as they were, we wouldn't be able to do it. So let's simplify the camp. The first thing I'm going to want to do is separate these two structures. Now this structure here I'm going to leave on a foundation of 9 foundation pieces. And this structure here, I'm going to simplify it all the way down to one foundation piece. So it's just on this one foundation piece. So what'll happen is when we get to the camp, we're going to try and place this structure down, and I'm going to bet that we won't be able to because it's too big on the foundation. But this one will be easy to place down because we have one foundation structure, and that's the trick. Single foundation structures. So what we're going to do for the vending stations and the display stations, you notice these stations also have some random items in them. What you really want to do is to be absolutely sure that you're going to be able to move it without having to restock them. Place down a single foundation. And then move them onto the foundation. You got to make sure that it is fully on the foundation. Because if you don't, when you get there and you go to place it down, you may get an error that the item is floating or that it intersects with another object. So what we're going to do is going to put this one over here as well. And what's going to happen is when we go to move the camp, this will become a blueprint listed under stored items. This building will be listed under stored items. This building will be listed under stored items. And these two red rockets will be listed under stored items. Hi everyone, Joe of Christmas Future here again. Right now, Joe of Christmas Past is trying to say that you can use prefabricated structures to move vendors and displays the same way you would use a single foundation piece to move to a new camp without having to restock the vendors or refill the displays. He's also going on and on and on about the doors being possible causes of issues when you arrive at the new camp, and when you try and place them, you get an error about objects floating. However, when I tried something of a Schrodinger's red rocket experiment involving different states of existence for the doors, I couldn't replicate the error. The prefabs should work, but if you absolutely, positively want to move without having to restock your vendors or refill your displays, use the single foundation piece option. Later on, Joe of Christmas Past will express some confusion when the error doesn't actually happen. Okay, back to the video. But what we're going to do now, we're going to make a manual blueprint of this turret tower so that we'll be able to recreate it quickly in our new camp, or if we go and claim a workshop, which is very handy. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the key to blueprint it. Let us blueprint. That's E. Hold and blueprint. And what we're going to do is we're going to select, grow the selection, select structure. That's the one. And that selected everything. So now let's create the blueprint. I'm going to overwrite the one I've already got. So that if we go to build from the blueprint, we could just place it down, assuming that we have enough budget in our camp and we have the resources to do it. Let's move. We're ready to move. We're going to move to a site that has a resource that we can claim. In this case, it's a junk pile. So let's, yeah. So here we are. We have arrived at my new camp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to claim this spot because of this junk pile right here. We also have a river here that we can put a water purifier in. And some grassland or some dirt that we can put our farm in. So let's do that. Let's make sure that when we place our camp doodad doohickey thingy, we encompass all of that. That looks good. All right, so let's build our camp. Let's now go to the stored blueprints, the ones that were automatically stored when we moved the camp. Instead of creating a regular manual blueprint, we just let the system create one for us. So here we have the blueprint that had the single foundation, and you'll notice that I can pretty much place it anywhere I can place a single foundation, as long as it doesn't intersect with something. But if we did the one that had the 9, well, there's enough space where we can place the one with the 9 foundation pieces, but it's harder to do. But if we move it out far enough, we can actually place it. But I'm going to use just the one that has the single foundation because it's easier to place. I can place it where I want it. And I think I'm going to want that over the water. There we go. Okay. And now let me place our foundation that has our vending stations on it. And you'll notice we can go ahead and look in them that there should be items for sale, and there are. We don't have to restock it. All we have to do is power it up, and we'll be able to sell stuff again. And the same is true for our red rockets. So let's go get those. So going to our stored items. There's the red rocket. Wow, that worked. Hi everyone, this is Joe of Christmas Present. So we're back at my main character's camp. How would we prep it to move? First, I'd simplify the structures by removing this staircase. That would separate the upper and lower levels. I'd also remove the foundations underneath the tower and the bunker. They may be stored together, which would cause problems. That way, it's just the basic prefab structures and the decorations and items inside that get stored. Second, I'd pull out my vendors and put them on single foundation pieces away from any structure. 2 vendor stations per foundation, and that's just to make absolutely sure that I won't have to spend hours and hours restocking them. Third, I've already used blueprints to create plans for most of the items in the lower building, so I won't have to worry about recreating them. I can just let that building go. And that's it. Ready to move. And that's it for this video. Let me know in the comment sections if you happen to know what was causing that object needs support error, if you have any tips or tricks for moving camp that work for you that should have been included, and what videos you'd like to see in the future. Happy holidays, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another Fallout 76 video.